So that's where you were. Movie special effects. Whether there's something obvious or something a little bit more subtle, they are tools that enhance a filmmaker's story. But how do you use them properly? Do you need a lot of money? Which is better, digital or practical? Well, let's talk about that. Hi everybody, my name is Andrew Kim and I'll be the host for this episode. First of all, what are special effects? Special effects are illusions that are created for movies and television using props, makeup, robots, computer, etc. Special effects can range from digital dinosaurs to explosions. Ever since film was created, people have constantly pushed the boundaries as to what was possible. One of the earliest film pioneers for special effects was Georges Méliès, who was also a stage magician. According to his own autobiography, Georges Méliès had a happy accident that changed filmmaking forever. One day he was filming a street in Paris when his camera jammed. After he fixed it, he ran it back up as usual. However, when he developed the film, something miraculous happened. That magic was painstakingly recreated right now. Okay, not completely impressive by our standards today, but it was very important. Through the camera's perspective, one object completely transformed into another object. Georges Méliès would also use other tricks like split screen or matting to create hundreds of films. One impressive example would be The Man with the Rubber Head. What's impressive about this is that he was able to do this entirely without the use of computers. Without that one happy accident, we might not have films as we know it today. Special effects usually fall under two categories, practical and digital. Practical effects can refer to makeup, puppets, or any other physical gag that can be captured at the moment. Digital usually refers to anything created with a computer. There's no point in arguing which is better because both are incredibly useful. A lot of films actually use both, and most of the times people don't know about it. There's always been a sky replacement. Anything color graded is technically a digital effect. Most of the time, indie filmmakers like myself will rely on digital effects. The reason? It's cheaper. Even if you're very digital heavy, be careful of the mindset of fixing it in post. That mindset will come back to bite you in the butt. You'll save yourself a lot of time and effort if you capture some things practically. As I mentioned in the previous episode, pre-production will save you a lot of trouble in the future. This goes double for special effects. Unless you're practicing something, you don't want to wing it here. Make sure you ask the right questions during the planning process. First of all, what kind of story is this? Do you need special effects at all? The story and idea will dictate the look of the effects, and from there you can dictate what you're capable of creating. And the next part, money. What's your budget? Do you have a budget? If the money you got is the kind that jingles as opposed to folds, you're gonna have to get kind of creative with that. Digital effects will be the most likely option for people, but know your limits. Good digital effects take time. A lot of million-dollar movies have sketchy CGI simply because there was not enough time. So in terms of digital effects, where would the money go? First of all, the money can go to hiring another person to do all the effects. The money could also go to buying stock footage or 3D models. For my own videos, I personally use Production Crate. They have a bunch of stuff, like this, and this, and this. I'll leave a link below so you can check it out. As a disclaimer, this is not a sponsored episode, but it is an affiliate link. That means a percentage will come back and help support the channel. I'm going to give you a quick rundown of some principles and techniques you can use in your own films. While simple in premise, you can get pretty creative with them. First thing to remember, the audience will only see what the camera sees. Here's a few examples of what I mean. Focusing the camera only on the dirt and the close-up of the hand gives the impression of being dragged into the ground.
Okay, last one, guys, last one.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Oh,
was that where his head was?
Yeah.
Action! I didn't have the budget to fill an entire room with balloons. Instead, I made a very big box and filled that with balloons. Then with the close-up, I got the impression of a room with balloons. To add flourish, I had the people that were going to run into frame throw up additional papers at the exact same time he did. Realistic? No, but it looks pretty cool. Like stage magic, it's all about perception and deception. A lot of people or devices out of frame can help sell an illusion. Another thing to think about is that to make it look cool, you gotta probably look stupid. To get something like this, you first need a shot like this. Motion on the actor's part helps sell the effect and can help dictate how to make the effect. So even if it looks stupid to do this, you'll need it for this. One useful trick is reverse photography. This basically requires an actor to perform an action backwards and then reversing it back in post. One use for this technique is if you want an actor or an object to hit a very, very specific mark. Let's say you want a car to stop an inch away from an actor. Besides the obvious risk of killing your talent, it is difficult to guarantee that you'll get even close enough. By doing it backwards, you can have the final mark you want every time. Reverse photography can also allow for more unnatural effects. In our Black and Blue Ranger fan film, we actually use reverse photography in a few shots. It's much easier, for example, to have a rope unwind as opposed to make it wrap by itself. To make it look like web being shot out, we simply had somebody hold the string slightly taut off camera and then pull the string until it disappeared. Okay, ready? 3, 2, 1, pull. Cut, good.
Oh, you okay?
Yeah.
Forced perspective is when you want to make something else bigger or smaller than it actually is. The closer to the camera, the bigger it looks. And the farther away, the smaller it is. We often use this trick for our own monster growing gags. Make sure you use a wide-angle lens and close the aperture so you can have everything in focus. If there's focus blur, it ruins the illusion that both are in the same place as opposed to being many feet apart. Before putting in effects in a bigger project, try an effects test. This applies to both practical and digital effects. That way you can see what works and what other troubles you can run into. And finally, don't be afraid to screw up. You'll make hundreds of bad films before you make one that you're happy with. And that's it for this episode of Kamen Knowledge. If you have a topic you wish for us to cover in the future, leave a comment below, let us know. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon to be notified of the next upload. See you next time.